It's Rachel. Welcome back to my channel. Today I was going to get out my Stitch Fix video and the editing didn't happen. So instead I am going to be going over those boxes of things, which is my entire palette collection. I recently had some time to organize them, so I thought I would just kind of show you guys quickly what are my palette collection, what's in it, and what I'm liking, what I'm not liking real quick, and that way I can declutter and get rid of some of the palettes that I've been wanting to give away or get rid of, but I wanted to show you guys first. Anyway, if you are new to my channel, I am a lifestyle beauty subscription box channel, and yeah, so if you're interested in that, don't forget to subscribe. So today I am in my grungy clothing. I have been painting. It's my day off, so you can see I've been painting trim all day. So yeah, don't mind this. Anyway, let's get into it. So I'm gonna just start from on one side and work my way over. I sort of organized these, but I sort of didn't. I like to use a lot of my glossy boxes because they make the perfect size to hold palettes. And I'm not going to go too in depth in any of these palettes because I have a buttload of palettes. But just to start off with this first round of palettes, I'll let you know if I've even tried the palettes. I have a whole slew of them I have not even gotten into. So the first one is this Pure Be Yourselfie palette. These are the colors here, beautiful. I got this in my last FabFitFun box. I have actually not really had a chance to try this beyond swatching it, but I am excited about this. So this one I am putting aside. You know what, I'm smelling this. I'm smelling this palette here. This is the Aspyn Ovard by Tarte palette. It was a limited edition palette. They don't have it anymore. Some people vehemently hate this palette and some people just absolutely adore it. I love this palette. This is your basic neutral palette, and I didn't have one at the time I bought this, and the packaging was gorgeous and it smells like freaking vanilla, but I really do enjoy this palette. I don't really dip into the highlighter or the blush, although the blush is quite beautiful, but I really love this shade up here, which is called Brilliance, and I use that as a highlighter oftentimes. But yeah, I just get some really great looks. And the packaging, guys, look at this packaging. I do have a review video. I'm gonna try to remember, I'm really bad about this, to put a link below if you guys are interested in the review video. I still feel the same about this palette that I did when I reviewed it. All right, next two ones are a set here. This is the Cali set and the Cali Chic. So the Cali set I got in my Yes Oh Yes, I think it was the first Yes Oh Yes one that I got, and these are the colors. This is definitely like the berries. Love this palette. I actually use it quite a lot. I really like Beauty Creations makeup, and it's very inexpensive, and especially if you get it on sale. This one came in my latest Yes Oh Yes box, which I'm going to try to post that video up in either the next week. I've already taped it. But this, I'll just show you guys, spoiler here. So this is more of the oranges and yellows. I have not had a chance to try this one out because I just got this. This was the December box that came super duper late. So, but yay, I have this set here. This palette here is the Essence Ho 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 Holiday Palette. I did a whole video. I'll try to remember to link below. I love this palette. I've gotten consistently great looks, and I absolutely freaking adore this pressed glitter. I'm not usually a big pressed glitter, but for the price of this palette, it was less than $10. And I don't even know if they sell it anymore. This was an awesome palette. I have been very impressed with the quality of this palette. Moving on here. This is the Rainforest of the Sea Volume 3 palette. I got this a while back. I think in one of my Tarte hauls. I'll try to remember that video. And I just found out on my BoxyCharm spoiler for this month that this is going to be the palette that I'm going to be getting, unless that spoiler is incorrect. I do really like this palette. It is quite beautiful. It is, again, one of your basic neutrals. It doesn't have a smell like a lot of the Tarte palettes, but it is quite pretty and creamy. You can see mostly shimmers, which I love me some shimmers. There's only really one matte shade, but this is a nice palette. So if, in fact, my spoiler is correct, someone else will be getting this palette, since I do like the palette, and I will give my extra one away. All right, here is one that I may be giving away to someone, and I haven't decided, but I've had this for a while, and I've not used it. This came when I bought a bunch of stuff around Christmas from Ulta. It still has all the plastic on it, and this is just the, I don't even know what they call this one. Ulta Beauty Clay. I don't know. It has 21 eyeshadows, 2 blushes, 2 highlights, and 2 bronzers. So this is it, basically. And I may give it away if I just don't get around to trying it. But I've kept it packaged up because I can't decide what I'm going to do with it. All right, moving on. This is one of my more favorite palettes. I don't talk about this one often, but I do use it a ton because I love this palette. And it makes me feel like I'm a little kid, but I absolutely adore it. So this is the Love, Trust, and Fairy Dust Tarte palette. I did a review. I'll, again, try to remember to link it below. I still love this palette. But this is the palette. It is berries and pinks, and this one right here is this amazing, like, orangey pink duochrome. Oh, I love that. You can see it's really orange there, and then it goes back to pink. This is a palette that when I'm feeling these colors and I'm traveling, I took this to a wedding. I just love this palette. Purples, plums, pinks, magentas. It's great. So I love this palette, and the packaging is so fun. All right, moving on. I am going to do a review of this palette at some point because I got a second one that I need to give away. And sometime this month, I'm going to be putting up that giveaway video. I've played with this palette quite a bit, and I like it in some ways, and I don't like it in others. And so I will have to do a review on it. But this is the NYX Professional Makeup Steam Palette. They had also like the Ignite, and there was one other one, and I want to get those other ones because anyway, this is the color scheme. It's quite fun and unique. This is the pink shade right here. This one that I was most excited about, that I'm having difficulty with because it's just not quite what I was hoping. But there are also some fun shades here. This one here is this fun kind of raspberry shade with sparkles in it. This reminds me of a Colourpop palette I have that I'll show you guys later. But yeah, I'm going to do a review on this. This is really an interesting palette, and I would like to talk about it at some point. All right, this is one I actually haven't gotten around to using, and I have it in my collection. This is, I still have it in the packaging here, and I will eventually, and I'll probably do a review way late after the fact. This is the Ace Beauté Grandiose palette. I got this in my BoxyCharm, and it's just beautiful. It is reds and magentas and pinks, and the swatches are fantastic, and the pan sizes are huge, and I've heard nothing but great things about it. And this palette I just have not gotten around to. I keep reaching for other things that I'm kind of feeling right now. So that is into the pile of I will use at some point. This one I'm probably going to get rid of, but I did a video about it and I'll link it below. It's not a horrible palette. It's a cheapy Amazon palette that I got at a promotional price that I played around with, but I have a lot of other palettes that are way better quality than this one. But I may give this to my daughter because she has a bunch of makeup she's playing around with, and this one is not half bad for that. It's not awful. It's just not my favorite. All right, next one here I've used quite a bit. It's also a good, just basic palette. This is the Real Her #1 Shadow Palette. I got this in my, not FabFitFun, it was in my Cos box like 2 Cos boxes ago, the fall. It's a cool toned neutral palette. It's mostly shimmers. There's just this shade and this shade that are really not shimmers, this row here. But the rest are fairly shimmers. But for a quick like get together look at work, I do like this palette. So that's not half bad. All right. Here are 2 ones that I have actually not gotten into. I went into a buying spree of beauty creations over the holidays. They had a huge sale, and I got these palettes for just stinking cheap, and I just haven't had a chance to go through and really use them. This is the Esmeralda by Beauty Creations. This one's fairly new. Oops, I still have the plastic here. This is inspired by the creator of Beauty Creations, or the owner, and this one's kind of got a fun, unique look to it. I think there's a subscription box coming out with this palette, and I can't think of which one it is. It's not one that I'm subscribed to, but I'm going to try to do a review on this one because that way, yeah, I just think it's interesting. All right, and then the next palette here is the Beauty Creations Irresistible. This is a spoof on I can't remember. I'll have to look it up. But this one as well, I haven't had a chance to try, but it's just got a pretty color story. So those are those palettes. I'm going to pause for a second. Okay, so if I don't go through all my palettes because I'm looking at the time on the video, we'll have to split this. But let me continue on. This is another new palette. I went through a whole palette buying spree from like November through just like a week ago. And so I have all these new palettes. But this one I heard really great things about. I had not tried BH Cosmetics before. And so I am going to definitely do a video and a review on this once I get a chance to really play with this. But this is the Weekend Festival palette. This is like a fun, colorful palette. So many options. So yeah, this one I have not dipped into. This is another one I have not dipped into because again, I got it when I got like 20 other new palettes, but I've heard nothing but great things. I got this in my BoxyCharm, the deluxe or whatever it is. I can't think of the name of it. Anyway, this I am so excited. I am definitely going to play around with and get a really in-depth review because yeah, I've heard nothing but great things and these colors are definitely my thing. All right, this I do need to do a review on. I played with this a lot. I love this palette. People either love or hate it, but I just think it's a great palette, and I have so many thoughts about this palette. But this is the Huda Beauty new nude palette, and this was my first Huda Beauty palette. I did get it on at like a significant discount during one of the sales, and I just love this palette. I've got plenty of thoughts, so I will do a full in-depth review on it. But I'm glad I got it. So it may be boring to some people, but it is quite beautiful. All right, guys, you've heard about my thoughts about this palette. This palette will be given to my daughter. This is an awful palette. This is the BoxyCharm Pure palette. I got this in a Pure giveaway thing, but it came in BoxyCharm before I subscribed to BoxyCharm. It is an awful, crappy, horrible palette. Needs to go in the trash. Junky, does not lay well, had so much potential, but this is just, it's a crap palette. All right, another new one that I picked up on sale, and I have not had a chance. Ooh, and it's in the wrong box because I have all my Colourpop palettes elsewhere, so I'm going to set that one aside, actually. We'll come back to it. This is another one that I've only sort of played with, but haven't had a real chance just because, I don't know, it doesn't sing to me very much. Ironically, it's the Nightingale palette by Pretty Vulgar. And it's just, I don't know, it's a cool tone palette, but the colors I haven't been really reaching for. I will play with it at some point. I don't find myself gravitating towards these gray colors. And if I find that I still don't want to, I may give this to my mom because this is the kind of color tone she tends to work with. All right, here's a palette I absolutely adore and I should play with it more. This is the Alamar Cosmetics Reina del Caribbean Volume 1, and we got in the BoxyCharm. Her second one came out, and I keep hesitating because I want to buy it, but at the same time, I just don't know. But I love her palettes. I mean, these are beautiful. The looks, the formula, it's just a beautiful palette, and she did such a nice job releasing it. Eventually, I will probably buy the second palette, and her brushes are fantastic. But yeah, this is a great palette. You guys know this one. This one I'm going to coming up a video coming up in the next week or so. I showed you this in my last video. This is the Hesina 2 in Blush Tribe. Oh, just that color story, guys. Beautiful. I'm not going to say much more because I will have a full review video coming up later. Here's another one. I have not had a chance. I feel like this is the theme of this month, but I promise you I'm about to get into the box of palettes that I've used a ton, but this one I got in December in my BoxyCharm again, and I just haven't had time because I have like 20 other new palettes, but it's really pretty, and we'll see. This is the Suva Beauty. I don't have any of their other palettes, so I don't know. This one I'd been eyeing for a while, and I just hadn't had a chance. I got it a couple weeks ago, and I haven't had a chance to play with it yet again. But this is the Julep eyeshadow palette, and I don't know if the name of it. There was a name for it, but I can't think of what it was. But this just looks so pretty, and I'd heard great things about this, and I haven't really seen a lot of reviews. But it did come with an eyeliner. So I'm going to play with this and then review it for you guys. I don't like that they put the names on the thing there, but anyway, I'll come back on this one later. All right, now we're getting into some palettes I actually really have used. I've done a whole video on this. This is the Beautycrop Expresso Yourself palette. I actually really love this palette. I got it for like $7 on FabFitFun. I love this palette. I use it all the time. It's so freaking versatile, and the staying power is quite good. Some of the shades are not quite as good as others. Some are not as pigmented, but I love this palette. Beauty Creations does a pretty good knockoff on it. That's a lot less expensive. This is like $23, but love this palette. This is Beauty Creations, not the exact knockoff, but they did two knockoff palettes. This is the latte one. So this one, they had the actual copy and then the latte. I love this palette as well. This is like the purple friend to the Expresso Yourself palette. I use this palette a ton as well. The shadows feel almost identical to the Beautycrop one. So I love both of these. So I'm going to pause for the next box. Okay guys, we're getting into some of my more pricey palettes. I have these all together in here. So this was one of my first palettes I got when I started getting back into makeup after I decided, okay, all my old makeup was crap and old and expired. And I got this in a FabFitFun sale. I think it was the edit sale. And it's supposed to be a knockoff of the Urban Decay Naked 2 palette. And it is by Pure Cosmetics. I'll be honest, this is not a very good knockoff. This quality of the shadows are very difficult to work with. I love the color tone, but I don't reach for it often because it has a lot of fallout. Not my most favorite, but I can work with it, so I keep it around. But I wouldn't recommend this if you're wanting a knockoff of the Urban Decay shadows. Oh, sorry, I said this is a knockoff of the Urban Decay 3. I went ahead and I got this one on sale at some point. This is the Naked 2, which I do like. And it's a pretty palette. It's just, I feel like a very basic nude palette, but I do use it. I like it. It's, you know, I don't know. I think it's pretty. So, yeah, this is a classic. They got rid of the original Urban Decay Naked palette, and now they have the reloaded one, which I don't know if I'm going to get. I didn't get the Naked Cherry because I don't know, it wasn't vibing with me, but this one's not bad. I did buy this recently, and I haven't had a chance to really get in and play with it, but this is the Urban Decay Born to Run palette. This has been out for a bit, but it is such a pretty, versatile palette, and I'm loving on it so far, but I've got to play with it a lot more to give you guys a better idea if I like it. This one is another one I got on sale recently, but I absolutely love it, and I bought a knockoff version of it in the Beauty Creations, which I didn't actually use because then I got this recently on sale, and I love this palette, and I've used it a bunch, and it is the Naked Heat, and I can see why everybody raves about this palette. But it is beautiful, and these kind of orangey coppery tones just look really fabulous on me. So I'm super glad I was able to get this. This one I just got on sale, and I've used a little bit, but not a ton, so I am going to play with it more before I review it. This is the Desi and Katie Friendcation from Dose of Colors. This is my first Dose of Colors palette. So I haven't really used the shimmer shades, which I heard can be very difficult, and the glitter shades, but they're beautiful. Look at those. But I've used some of the matte shades, and they work really nicely. I probably wouldn't have bought this at full price. It was $55, but I got it for like $26 or something, and then I had an $11 off at Ulta, so I really paid nothing for this palette. But the aesthetics of it, oh, it reminds me of like a shiny clutch. All right, these are my babies. The Anastasia Beverly Hills. I just love ABH palettes. I just do. I don't know. I love the formula. I don't mind them being powdery. I love them. This one I finally got on sale. Everybody has the Modern Renaissance. I finally bought it. I actually haven't used it because I just got it maybe a couple weeks ago. You guys know my love of the Norvino palette. I use this freaking all the time, especially that top row. This is probably one of my favorite palettes. It was my favorite for 2018. I'll link below. This is the Soft Glam palette, which I also like, not quite as much as the Norvina, just because it's a little bit more orangey and boring, but it is very pretty. I like the color Rose Pink, and I like the color Sultry, the pinky ones there. And so, yeah, I've played with this a bit. It reminds me a lot of, I don't know, it's a pretty palette. And then obviously the Sultry palette, I've done reviews and looks. I'll try to link those below. I love this palette. It looks so boring in person, but it is such a fun palette. I like to take the Bloom and Rose Quartz and kind of make a pinky shimmery look, and it is just fantastic. So one of my more favorite palettes. All right, next box. All right, I got 2 boxes left. I'm gonna try to go over these quickly. So this is another Amazon palette I got. I did not care for this palette. I will probably give this away for my daughter. It's very salmony pink color, but the colors just did not wear well. And I'm gonna play with it a little bit more, but I'm pretty sure I was allergic to part of it. All right, this is my Colourpop palette. I have a lot of Colourpops in here. The first one I wanted to go over was this Colourpop All I See Magic. This was last year's holiday palette, and I got this for like super duper cheap, like $9 on the Ipsy website. And so I have not played with it, but it's beautiful. All right, I just generally love Colourpop. So these are all my Colourpop palettes, and I'm just gonna go quickly over them. So Chasing Rainbows, I just did a big haul of Colourpop. In addition to the video I did, this one was given to me free. It's very colorful. It's probably one of the most colorful Colourpop palettes I have. I will tell you, swatching it, they swatched nicely. This is the Disney collection, which I meant to do a review and I have yet to do, but I love this palette. I use it a ton. So I will at some point show you guys a look and do a review. Beautiful everyday palette, just so pretty. And the aesthetics of this palette are gorgeous. This is one of my favorite palettes. They give it to me straight. I couldn't think of the name when I was doing my best of video. This, every time I wear this, I get nothing but compliments. Beautiful coppery and pink tone. This is my You Had Me at Hello by Colourpop. Very pretty. I'm just going to go over these quickly because I'm going to run out of video. This is Colourpop Sweet Nothing. I just did a review of my haul and this was in there. I just bought this. This is the Zodiac palette. I have not played with this. I have swatched this green up here though, and it's a little bit off. So I'm interested to see how this palette's gonna run. This one I just bought because I've been interested in it. This is the Femme Rosa by Colourpop. Again, those purples, frosty pinks. This is so up my alley. I've talked about this palette a ton. This is the Good Sport palette. Oh, so pretty. I'm gonna have to do a video on a look that I do all the time. And I've talked about this palette, not my most favorite. I'm gonna keep trying to make it work, but this is the Kathleen Light Dream Street palette. All right, gonna try to quickly go through the rest of these before I run out of time. I love this palette. This is the Essence Spice Up Your Life palette. It's only $9. It is just a great palette. Not super highly pigmented, but if you don't have a lot of money to spend, this is a really, really nice fall colored palette. This one is the Nude Pop by Kevin O'Kine. I'm still playing with this palette. I have kind of not formulated my full thoughts. I have some issues with it. I like other things about it, but it is a beautiful palette. This one I actually haven't had much time to apply. This is the Bobbi Brown Ultraviolet Eyeshadow Palette. It is absolutely stunning, and I need to get in there and play with it more. This one is why I don't buy a lot of Too Faced. This had great reviews. This was the Too Faced Bordeaux Eyes, and it just had nothing but great reviews, and I liked it because it was like smoky and some purples, and I just don't like it. So it's made me kind of off-put to get other Too Faced shadows, which is kind of bad. All right, this Laura Lee palette, awful party animal. My daughter's getting this. It looks like a clown. It applies horribly. Its quality is crap. That's all I'm going to say about that palette. And then you have the 2 Wonder Beauty palettes that I had talked about previously. I'll put my video. This is the Off Duty. And this is the Chill palette, which I have liked better the more and more I've played with it. Okay, going into a few more here. This is the City Limits by IBY. I really like this palette. I'm gonna have to do a video on it. So pretty. Got it in a Yes Oh Yes. Really impressed with the quality. This is the Pure Midnight Masquerade palette. Having some difficulty with it. Love the colors though. This I got in a FabFitFun box. Was it FabFitFun? Or BoxyCharm. It was BoxyCharm. Not loving it so much. All right. Got this in a Tarte haul with a mystery thing. This is the Tartelette Tease. Smells like their typical vanilla. It's a great basic palette. I wore it to work yesterday and it just looked great. Didn't wear as long as I'd like, but it's a good basic travel palette. So I do like those. This is the Tarte Pro To Go I got in a FabFitFun box. I don't love the oranges in this as much, but again, it's a great travel palette. I took it on a vacation recently. So all these palettes are my tiny travel palettes. I'm just going to kind of quickly show them, not go into a lot. I have not used this. This is the Ulta Beauty palette. I may give this one away because I have yet to use it. I have yet to open this one. This may be a giveaway. This is the Ulta Onks NYX makeup. And then this one is the Mini City Mini palette by Maybelline. These are nice. These are super inexpensive and they're good for what they are. All right, this is the Style London palette. I got this in a glossy box. It's not half bad. It's little. It works. All right, a few more here. This is the tiniest palette in the world, and I got this in a Target box, and I never put this video up because I just had too many things going on, and I can't get it open. And this is the Sleek Makeup. Look how tiny it is. I think Tarte did a video on this. This is just ridiculously tiny, but I keep it because it looks awesome for travel. Why not? Everyone has to have a tiny palette. This is my new Smith & Colt. I haven't had a chance to play with it, but I got this in my, what one? Oh yeah, Boxy. No, Ipsy Glam Bag Plus. Very pretty. This one I got in a glossy box, and I'm not that impressed with it. It's Icon Beauty. I just don't reach for it. It's kind of boring. The packaging already broke, and I really haven't traveled with it, so I'm kind of disappointed in this one. Okay, we're going to go last through. Lightning round. So this is Tarte. You guys have heard my thoughts. I don't love this palette. I really had high hopes. It just doesn't work out for me. This is the Smashbox I got from my first Ipsy Glam Bag Plus. So far, I have been unimpressed with this. It just doesn't lay correctly. These are the few Essence palettes I don't like. I have yet to use this one, so I may give this one away. This is the Shell in My Castle, but I have used this one. This one, they're beautiful. They just don't have any pigmentation. This is the Rose Eyeshadow Box in Happily Ever After. It's beautiful. It doesn't really have any pigment. All right, this is the Colourpop. I don't like this one. This is the Feel Away. I don't know what it is about these little quads, but they just aren't as good as their full eyeshadow palettes. Ew, there's stuff all over this too. But anyway, I just don't love this palette, so I rarely reach for it. This is an Essence Eye and Face palette, which is not half bad, but I really like it for the highlighter. This is a Bang Beauty palette, which I'll probably give away to my daughter. It's supposed to be worth like 30 bucks. It just looks cheap and it's falling apart and I just never reach for it. And then I got these in a mixed bag. These are the Pure eyeshadow trios. I don't really like these. I just miss on Pure products. But anyway, they're kind of hard to use. So that's it, guys. That was my lightning round. Those are all my palettes. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you liked it, leave me comments below. Give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe. And tell me what you think. Would you guys like this with other things in my makeup box or in my cabinet? Anyway, thanks, guys, for watching. I will see you later.